Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DGGA overview. Today, we wanted to talk with y'all a little bit more in detail about our grading process, what all it would entail, and answer some of the questions that we get when we talk to shop owners and other people within the disc golf community as they help us get this off the ground.
Our full website is going to have a frequently asked questions section that will cover a lot of the common questions that we're getting. But today we're addressing what is the DGGA, what do we do, and why are we here?
So, apparently, and quite obvious, hopefully, the DGGA is the Disc Golf Grading Authority. So, we're here to
Yeah.
grade collectors' discs, right? If you have ever dabbled in the collector's card world, it's very synonymous, we hope, with the PSA and Beckett grading systems. It should be an objective way to evaluate the quality and condition of a collector's disc. It is not a valuation. We're not going to send you back and be like, oh, your 4-claw worth 700. It is strictly an objective and dual authenticated valuation of the disc's current condition and how closely it matches the ideal or statistically significantly above average disc.
Right. So we're primarily going to be focused on receiving collector's discs, those high-end plastics, the ones that you want to put on your wall, the ones that you're a little timid to put in your bag or to throw. That's kind of the target audience here. And like Preston said, we are 100% focused on the physical appearance and the mold consistency of the disc. We our goal is to see all of the collectible discs, but later on we're going to talk about what to send us. It can literally be anything, and it won't change how we grade the disc or how we approach the grading process. It could be a 4-claw, it could be your trusty rusty, mid range, but it's going to be a very strict look at what is the condition of the disc. How does it look?
That's right. So, why would you get a disc graded? Let's talk a little bit about why you might send us a disc. Uh, First of all, like we've covered, it's an objective indication of the condition of the disc. Maybe you're a collector that's just takes a lot of pride in their discs. I've seen some beautiful, like huge case setups where people obviously
Yeah.
put a lot of time, effort, and money into getting their collection to look pristine. This is an additional layer you can put on top when you have a disc on your wall or in a case to say, hey, not only do I have this disc and it has this fire stamp, it's also a 9 or it's a 9.5, right? It's an additional layer to your collection. It also will increase, hopefully, should increase the sale value. So, with the current
Mhm.
disc golf market, if you're selling one of these high end discs, you'll be selling a disc for almost $1,000, sometimes in excess of $1,000, and the buyer just has to take your word for it. You can post as many videos and photos as you want on that Facebook post, but at the end of the day, you are trusting the person that's selling it to you that they are sending you that right disc, right? But also that it's in the condition they say it is, that it has the scratches that they say it doesn't or does have. And so this is there to help add a layer of authenticity to the disc golf collecting and resale market, and that
Mhm.
should increase the sale value of these discs.
We've seen a meteoric growth in the disc golf as a sport, and we're hoping to help bring the collectors scene, the collectors market with it by establishing a standard for what is a 9 out of 10, what is a 10 out of 10. And so the DGGA is here to set that standard. And so when you are trying to buy or sell a high value collector's disc, it's you can look at it, see the DGGA seal, see the grade, the breakdown, and say, okay, I know it's a 9. I know what I'm getting. It's
Yeah,
giving you that confidence in the exchange.
exactly. And so let's talk a little bit about how this compares with the current techniques, right? The sleepy scale is what's typically used.
Yeah.
So hopefully most of you are familiar, but maybe you're newer to disc golf collecting and resale. So briefly, the sleepy scale is numbers 1 through 10 that you use to describe the quality of your own disc that you are reselling online. There's no strict what detracts from a sleepy scale. Just community wise, people don't ever put 10 out of 10 on the sleepy scale. They'll put 9.8 out of 10. Nothing's perfect. Um, But basically, anything that's new or kept in a bag, people will be listing between 9.5 and 9.8. Maybe you'll see some people putting tens. Um, and that's the Sleepy scale. It's good. It was great for a long time when disc golf was small and discs were $30. I'm on a couple of Sexton Firebird pages. They're a personal favorite of mine, and I love seeing the nostalgic posts of people from 2017 being like, "Oh, look, I sold all these 2015s for $50 a piece." Hashtag
Yeah.
regret, right?
Oh
But it's
man,
changed. That's no longer the
it's different.
reality.
Yeah.
And so the Sleepy scale is no longer sufficient. It's not objective. It's being graded by the person that's selling it. It isn't consistent between graders,
Mm.
right? You've got 100,000 people selling discs online. That means you have 100,000 different graders. Everybody's giving their disc as a 9.8. How do you know that your disc is a 9.8? Is that as good as the other person's 9.8? There's just no consistency to help establish that trust and that surety of what you're buying.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times. Well, it's not that many times, but there's been quite a few times where I've purchased a disc online. They say, 9.5 out of 10, straight from the retailer, never thrown, bag kept. And I'm like, okay, cool. It should come in looking really clean. I get it in the mail. You hold it up, and there's a scuff. And then you message them, hey, there's a scuff on there. I don't know if you noticed, but and they said, oh no, I didn't notice. It probably wasn't them. That could have happened in shipping from the retailer. It could have happened in shipping between you and them. It could have happened at some point in storage, just storage wear. And so it may have never been thrown. It may be bad kept. So they're saying that the Sleepy scale, the 9.5, is reflecting bad kept, collector stored. It's going to be a perfect disc essentially, and then it's not, and it just hits below what you're expecting. So the DGGA, we're going to analyze literally under a microscope with enhanced assessment techniques, the whole 9 yards, and we're going to make sure that a 9 is a 9 every time. A 9.5 is a 9.5 every single time. So we want to set the standard. We're going to create the standard, and to help your discs increase in collectability.
That's right. And not only will our grading system give you that final number, but if you've watched our introduction, you're familiar with the fact that our grading system will use 4 categories. And that hopefully really helps you as a buyer. So perhaps you're buying this disc to go in a shadow box and it's going on a wall and no one will ever see the back. No one will ever hold it because it's in a box. And so maybe mold consistency is not very important to you. You don't care if the disc mold is not above average factory quality. Maybe the stamp's really important to you and the flight plate's really important to you, but rimming, not a big deal. It's an opaque disc. And so you'll be able to see that breakdown on how the rim scored and how the stamp scored and how the mold consistency scored so that you can get the deal, right? You're going to get a better deal on those discs than if we just say, well, here's where it's at holistically. You'll get the holistic score and a breakdown to help you buy the
Yep.
right disc for you.
Yeah. I think it's going to help buyers and sellers really just their level of confidence in purchasing high-end discs. I mean, like you said before, the amount of money that we're starting to spend on collectors discs is getting real. It's getting serious. I mean, it's been serious for a couple years, and now more players are coming. More people are starting to see that, hey, collecting discs, it's kind of fun. It's an art thing. There are beautiful discs out there. The plastics are swirly. The stamps are wonderful. There's a history, with the Sexton Firebirds, with the Destroyers. I mean, there's a history here that goes back now decades, and
Yeah.
so we need to make sure that we're taking every effort to preserve, protect, and keep the integrity of the collecting scene, the collecting market.
So you've started listing some of the discs that people might send in. Let's talk a little bit more about that. What
Yeah.
discs should you send in?
So that's probably the hardest, but the easiest question to answer. The answer is send in whatever you want. We talked a little bit about it before. We are planning on seeing as we're designing the grading process, the packaging, the shipping. In our minds, we're getting the high end, the bag kept, the stored well, 15 sextons. We're getting first runs, the claw stamps. These discs that have really never been outside, the ones that people want to keep on their wall.
I expect to
And
see
so
so many Lunas. The Luna
I want to see
community
them
is
all. I want to see the Lunas. That's
they've got
probably one
some
of the most
whales.
Oh, they do. They really
Yeah,
do. I've seen them
yeah.
lately a lot. The Lunas are huge. The Fierces are huge. I know that MVP, they have some of the best like custom limited run stamps. Um, and so yeah, that's what we're expecting. But I also want to see your first ace disc. I want to see um, the ones that are out of production. So they may have a little more wear because they're older, but I want to see them. I love the Trident from Latitude 64. People are going to get on here and give me a hard time. They're like, "Oh, it's not out of production." They did make a new plastic and they dropped the Trident again, but it's been out of plastic. I mean, out of production in all the other plastics. And so I have a collection of Tridents, and just because it's out of print. So I expect that we'll see a lot of those. We'll see that stamp that you've chased. A lot of people really like certain stamps. I'm a big Wonder Bread guy. I know it's probably pretty cliche. There's a lot of Wonder Bread fans out there, but I'm a big Wonder Bread guy. Send us those. Send us the stamps that you love just because you love the stamp. So really, whatever you want, send it in. We're not going to send it back and be like, "Oh, that disc is unworthy of grading." We're happy to grade whatever you send us. Yeah, that just about anything and everything.
That being said, our system is designed purposefully to help separate the great from the super great, right? The
Mhm.
disc golf collectors
Yeah,
market is focused on the high end, well kept discs. And so our grading scale is most nitpicky and most decisive between the 8.5s, the 9s, the 9s, the 9.5s, the 9.5s, and the 10s, right? That way, when you own a 10 or a 9.5 or a 9 and you sell it or you keep it or you put it on your wall, it has the correct gravitas that
yeah.
having that disc should have, right? You know when you have one, probably, right? You know as a collector that one disc that you get really excited when you meet another collector because maybe they'll understand what a big deal it is that you have that disc.
Yeah.
So the like Patrick said, we will take any disc you want to send in. We would love for you to, even if you're just sending us one to help support the growth of the DGGA, you think it's something that will help push collecting disc golf forward. We love that. Thanks so much. But primarily, this system is built to help differentiate between the great discs and the exceptional discs. And like
Yeah.
Patrick said, that might not be your fault. I want to be very
Absolutely not.
clear.
Yeah.
Just if I order from a factory and Patrick orders from a factory, there are a lot of hands touching those discs. The processes are built to be statistically consistent, but that means that not every disc is the same. The cooling rates are different. The alignment when they cool changes things about the disc. It adds warpage. You know this as disc golfers. You know that some of your disc comes out puddle top, some of them are pop top, some of them are warbly, right? You know that some we'll throw them under the bus, that no destroyers fly the same. So you know there's a difference, right? Our system is differentiating those differences. So if you send us a disc and you're going to be so sure it's a 9.5 because you never took it out of a bag, understand that it was out of the bag in the factory, that its mold may have been cooled differently, that it got shipped to you, that it got shipped to us. Please be really, really careful shipping. We'll do a couple episodes just on
Yep.
shipping to
How to
help
ship a
give some
disc.
tips. Yeah.
It's coming up
So now the big
for
question,
sure.
right? How much is it going to cost? Our DGGA standard, which is the
Hmm.
full grading process with the
Yep.
breakdown grade, two anonymous graders. So two independent people will grade the disc anonymously using like a serial number system, and then their grades will be compared. And as long as they are significantly similar, that grade will be accepted, and then the grade will be given to the disc, and the disc will be sealed in a package.
Yeah. So we're offering two services that will have your disc sealed inside of a package. Of course, as Preston said, the first one is DGGA standard. It's going to be $30 for a DGGA standard grade. We're calling it standard because this is the one we are anticipating will happen the most often. It's going to be. This is a very thick. It's a 8 millimeter storage bag. It is sealed inside of here. It's not a Ziploc. You can't open it back up. Um, on the top, we have the disc grade label. It's got the breakdown of the four different areas that we are focusing on. We have the rim, the flight plate, the stamp, and true, which is DGGA's word for mold consistency. And then on this other side, we have the embossed DGGA seal of authenticity. Means it was graded by us, and it is to the standard of the DGGA. So this is again the DGGA standard packaging. It's going to be $30. None of the prices that we talk about today will include the return shipping. There will be some different options for return shipping for your disc to come back to you.
That's right. And then the flagship sealed version of our disc grading system is going to be DGGA Premium. So similar to DGGA Standard, this disc will be dual graded. It'll be sealed into this shadow box. We are working on some things behind the scenes to create a proprietary shadow
cool
box
stuff.
system.
Yeah, it
if we
should
get
be
it
pretty
working,
awesome.
we'll do a nice podcast reveal for y'all where we talk about our unique shadow box and some of the attributes and bonuses that it has. But you can see the smaller tag. That tag still has the serial number of the grade. So I don't know in what case you would ever need to, but you could always email us at support@discgolfgradingauthority.com and give us your serial number, and we can pull up your full grade history. It has the quad grade breakdown as well as your final grade, and of course the DGGA seal. That'll be sealed. That sticker or label or whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah, the grade label is going to be sealed inside of the shadow box with the disc. We've tried to keep it down and out of the way so you can still appreciate the beauty and the artistry of this disc that you're sending in, but at the same time offering this authentic standard grade of your disc.
That's right. And
So again,
then
that's DGGA Premium, and I don't know if you said the price already, but that's going to be $45 for the DGGA Premium service. Again, plus whatever return shipping option you choose.
that's right. And then finally, we're going to be offering what we're calling DGGA Casual as a service. So if you have a disc that sits more in the 50 to 70 value range, you might say, hey, $30 plus shipping, that's like $37. That's not financially worth it to send it in. We understand. If you would still like an objective third party grade given to your disc in order to help with resale, you can apply through DGGA Casual. So a disc submitted as casual will be graded by one person. It will be given essentially an objective sleepy scale grade. It'll be sent back to you in a reusable 8mm zip bag, like Patrick's showing you right here. It'll have a little piece of paper in the back that's got, it'll be nice with our DGGA logo and the grade. And that's just to say, hey, third party, this is legit at 9. This is legit at 9.5. It will be more strict than the sleepy scale. It will be more consistent and more objective. Yeah. But obviously not nearly as thorough, not quite as objective, or as scrutinizing. So maybe, if you have a disc that's well thrown, like some of the ones on my wall, you might send it in through casual if you're just looking to flip it or sell it for a value at which those higher price marks don't make sense.
Yeah, again, we're just trying to establish a standard against which the discs will be graded consistently. So that's really what we're after, is just the consistency of grading, consistent standard. So I'm really excited to offer these 3 different services. We have DGGA Standard, DGGA Premium, and then we also have DGGA Casual as an option. Please take advantage. We're going to be offering some Founders Day discounts on all 3 options. Sign up on our website, discgolfgradingauthority.com now to be notified when the full website and all 3 grading services launch, which will hopefully be very soon. We are making some pretty good headway on the grading process itself and also the packaging. And like Preston mentioned, we're working on a pretty cool shadow box. I think it's got some really interesting things worked out to be specifically designed to display disc golf disc.
Make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will be the place where we'll be putting out future videos covering a lot more frequently asked questions, like how do signatures play into disc golf grading, or custom stamps, or ink. We'll be giving you tips on how to ship your discs properly.
Hmm.
We'll be
Yeah.
talking about what happens if you do open up your graded disc, right? All these things and more. And guys, if you have questions, if you have things that you wish we would talk about, or a question that you're like, dude, how is this not the top of your list? This is what I want to know. Put it in the comments. If it's a brief answer, we'll just give you a quick little respond in the comments. If we
Hmm.
think it's something everyone wants to know, we'll give you a shout out. We'll make a video on it, either on our
Absolutely.
Instagram or on our YouTube here. So hit subscribe so you're notified when those videos go live. Turn your notifications on, and join us every month or so for the DGGA Collectors Corner podcast. You can always have a chance to win a mystery box disc by using hashtag #DopestDisc to post some of your cool collector discs on Instagram. We've got a lot going on. I'm really excited. I know Patrick is too. We've been working on this for a long time.
Quite a while.
By
Yeah.
the time you're seeing this video, we've been working on this for probably a year,
At
getting
least.
everything
Yeah.
going and getting like a legit LLC set up. So we're so excited to be close to getting these services out to you. Please keep in mind that everything is still being finalized until that website launches. We'll put out a really excited, really happy video when this all happens. But like the grades you saw on those discs today are not representative of the actual grade those discs received. The label aesthetics might change. All of that, little asterisks on the side, right?
Thanks, guys. And don't forget, go to the website and sign up to get notified for when we go live. Hopefully, in the coming weeks. It's right down there beneath Preston. And thanks for watching.